sports podcast with the youngest, most daring, intrepid, gutsy, fearless host on the planet. Get ready for Jake's Takes. Here's Jake.
Welcome back. I am Jake, and this is Jake's Takes, where I get your favorite athletes and stars to open up and speak what's really on their minds. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, because you won't believe the guests I have lined up. Get ready, sports fans, because Jake's Takes is the show you've been waiting for. You know how much I love baseball, and today's guest is off the charts. Our guest serves as the play-by-play announcer for the Toronto Blue Jays on Sportsnet and hosts a popular baseball podcast called Swinging a Belt. He also serves as the lead announcer for ESPN's men's college basketball, along with regular season MLB games on ESPN. He also leads postseason MLB coverage on ESPN Radio. Previously, he served as the play-by-play announcer for ESPN Sunday Night Baseball with current New York Yankees manager Aaron Boone. Gotta be honest and tell ya that I am super mega pumped to welcome to Jake's Takes baseball legend, Mr. Dan Shulman.
Good to see you, but I'm worried about you. You can't maintain that energy for an entire podcast. I know you're young and all, but boy, you got to pace yourself, man.
I can do this. I got it. When you got Dan Shulman on, you gotta keep it going.
I appreciate that. It's good to be with you.
Yeah, it's just such a treat to have you. Now, I know, Dan, you're famous for knowing every detail about baseball and other sports and remembering everything. But there was one moment in a Blue Jays game you called on June 17th, 2019, I bet you don't remember. Hazel May did a segment that was played on the Jays broadcast about a young fan who was giving Clayton Richard grief for losing. And Clayton was amused by this young fan who really knew his stuff, so he gave him a baseball. Let's roll the audio.
That's a great story, Hazel. Thank you. And, that's something that kid, however old he is, 8, 9 years old, he's going to remember that forever.
Dan, that young fan was none other than me. So I was already on your show. Now it's time you join mine.
Well, that seems only fair. Now we're even, that's for sure. Do you still have the baseball?
Yeah, I still have the baseball. It's in my room.
Yeah, nice.
Let me ask you, were you also a huge baseball fan when you were my age?
I was. So I was born in 1967, and the Blue Jays were born in 1977. So until I was 10 years old, there wasn't baseball in Toronto. And as much as this sounds crazy to you, there was no internet back then. And it was hard to get games on TV. And so when I was a kid, I was a hockey fan. Easily, hockey was the number one sport that I loved. I really became a Blue Jay fan when the Blue Jays showed up, because before then, you could watch the game of the week and you could learn about it in the newspaper, but you couldn't follow it as much as you can now. So, yes, I was a baseball fan, but I was hockey number one. And then as soon as the Blue Jays showed up when I was 10 years old, I became a huge baseball fan as well.
That's awesome, but I can't argue because hockey's my number two. Well, let's start with some Jays talk. When people talk about the 2021 Blue Jays, they always focus on their explosive offensive lineup, and rightfully so. They landed free agent slugger George Springer, adding another big bat. But people tend to miss another important aspect of this team. And hear me out on this, Dan. I actually saw, you actually tweeted about this on Sunday. Their starting rotation, it might be the best in the AL East. The Yankees have Garrett Cole, but no one else to rely on. Kluber's not that great. Jamison Taillon, he's struggling big time. The Red Sox pitching don't Just joke. The Rays, they lost Blake Snell and Charlie Morton. And I'm not even going to get started on the Orioles. But the Jays, they have a true ace in Ryu. And then they have Steven Matz, Robbie Ray, and Nate Pearson. What other rotational guys do we have? Do anybody else have in the division that's as solid as ours?
Well, I love your optimism. So I want to see when Nate Pearson gets back and what Nate Pearson is when he gets back. Is he a starting pitcher, or is he kind of a piggyback guy, or do they start him in the bullpen? You know, he's had a lot of trouble staying healthy. There's no question, if Nate Pearson comes back and if he is the starting pitcher that we all hope he's going to be, that's going to make this a really good rotation. Matz has been great. Ryu has been great. Robbie Ray worried me a little bit on Sunday with the 6 walks in 5 innings. So I think the Blue Jays have done a great job adding depth, and they've had, as you know, a lot of injuries on the staff, and they still lead the league in ERA right now. But I think they got to get some guys healthy if that's going to continue. So hopefully Pearson comes back. I'd love to see Thomas Hatch at some point, but it sounds like that's further away. The bullpen will get better when Jordan Romano and Tyler Chatwood come back. It's got the makings of a good pitching staff. I'm with you there. Is it the best in the division? We'll see. We're only 16 games into the year, and it's got a chance to be good, but I think we got to let it play out a little bit more.
By the way, whoever didn't see Dan's tweet, first of all, shame on you. But this is what Dan wrote. The Blue Jays lead the AL in ERA at 3.12. Walks way down from last year. Ground ball percentage way up. So like I started, Dan, this team's pitching ain't too bad. Sticking with the Blue Jays for a minute, the game of baseball is becoming a game of young stars. In Atlanta, you have 23-year-old Ronald Acuna Jr. Washington is led by 22-year-old Juan Soto. And, Padres star Fernando Tatis Jr. can literally become the next face of baseball at just 21. But the Jays have their own young stars. Here's my question, Dan. Who will end up to be the real star on this team? Vladdy and Bo seem to be the two favorites, but they're very different players. Who will emerge as the face of this team? I'm leaning towards Bo. What do you think?
That's a great question, and it's something that a lot of us in the media have discussed over the last couple of years. You know, initially we thought it would be Vladdy, and then Vladdy came up and he didn't hit as much as we thought he would, and he struggled at third. And as soon as Bo came up, he hit like crazy, and he's really hit pretty consistently his entire career. I think it's an excellent question, and I think the nice thing is they've got 2 of these guys that you can really have a realistic conversation about which one is going to be the bigger star. I think Vladdy's got more upside offensively, and again, it's only been 16 games, but he's been incredible this year. And if this is the guy he's going to be, he's going to compete for awards and whether, RBI title, leading the league in OPS, whatever the case may be. He's going to do a lot of incredible things. Bo, I think, has a chance to be a star, too. He's really working hard to try to make his defense better. Bo can be a little bit streakier because he's so aggressive at the plate. You know, there are games where you just can't get him out, and there are games where he chases and he kind of gets himself out. I don't want to choose between the 2. I hate to sit on the fence, but I think the nice part is how many teams have 2 guys this good, this young, where you can have a conversation about which one of them is going to be a bigger star. The nice thing is the Blue Jays have them both for at least the next 5 years, it looks like, and we all get to watch them, and that's going to be exciting.
Yeah, I just think Bo is I think he's going to be the guy. He just has this swagger about him that he just convinces me. He just convinces me.
I'm not surprised you like swagger, by the way. That doesn't surprise me at all.
Do you think the Jays would, consider signing him to a monster deal, like the Tatis Jr. deal?
I think it's possible. I think, Bo has said they did have preliminary conversations about that last offseason. I think this offseason, that is definitely in play for Bo and Vladdy, but it takes both sides, right? They can make Bo an offer, and Bo might say, you know what, I'm happy to go year by year. And to sign a mega deal like Tatis did, that's the player saying, I'm happy to spend my entire career in this city. And maybe they are, and maybe they're not. I'm not sure. So I don't know if they sign them to a 14-year deal like Fernando Tatis did, but it wouldn't surprise me at all if we saw Bo or Vladdy sign 4 or 5 year deals after this season.
One last thing before we leave the Jays. I had my good friend and favorite player, Superman, Kevin Pillar, on my show. A few weeks ago, I asked him if he would want to come back and end his career in Toronto. And Kevin told me, absolutely. It would be a magical storybook ending that he would love. We would all love it. I told Kevin I would put in a good word with Shapiro and Atkins, and he said, please do. Do you think Kevin's veteran leadership would be valuable to this young team? I know I do.
I think it's possible, and Kevin had a great run in Toronto. He really did, and I got to know Kevin fairly well when he was a Blue Jay, and he did love it here. And the fans loved him. They loved how hard he played, diving for balls, all of that sort of thing. I think it's possible. Right now, they've already got 4 outfielders, right? They've got Gurriel and Springer and Hernandez and Grichuk. So it's hard for me to imagine where Pillar could fit in if they've got all 4 of those. But if in a year or two they don't have all 4 and they're looking for an older guy to come in maybe in a part-time role, which is kind of what Kevin has now with the Mets, I think, sure, it could work. And it would be nice to see him back. I'm sure the fans would love it.
Okay, Dan. Now on Jake's Takes, you better be excited, because it's game time! Today we're playing Rapid Fire. I'll ask you a bunch of short questions. You answer them as quick as you can. Deal?
I will do my best.
Let's go. Shawshank Redemption or Home Alone?
Oh, Shawshank Redemption, easy.
Will Nelson Cruz make the Baseball Hall of Fame?
Very good question. I don't know his exact numbers, so I would have to look that up, but my guess would be no.
What's more unpredictable, an R.A. Dickey knuckleball or Canada's vaccine rollout?
I'm going to say the knuckleball is more unpredictable. I have some other words I could use for the vaccine rollout, but I won't use them here.
Who will win in a race? Pablo Sandoval or Ryan Zimmerman?
I think, that's an interesting question. You know what? I'm going to take the unpopular answer. I think the Panda might win that race, even though he's a big fella.
Will Vladdy hit 35 home runs this year?
I will say no, but I'm still going to say he has an incredible year. I think Vladdy can be incredible without hitting a huge number of homers. He's more of a line drive hitter, so I could see him hitting 27, 29, 32, but still having an incredible year.
What stadium has the best food?
That's a good question. So we eat in the media press box. We don't go down into the stadium to eat to eat the same food that people who go to the games eat. But I will tell you, from having gone to a game in San Francisco, their garlic fries are unbelievable, and they've got a great ice cream selection too. So I'll say, I think it's called Oracle Park now in San Francisco.
Would you hire Barry Bonds and Roger Clemens to help administer vaccinations?
Pass.
What was the most exciting game you've ever called?
Game 6 of the 2011 World Series between St. Louis and Texas. My first time calling the World Series for ESPN Radio. The Rangers are a strike away from winning the World Series, and David Freese hits a ball to deep right field, and Nelson Cruz, who you were asking about, goes back and misses the ball by a couple of inches. St. Louis ties it up. Texas takes the lead in the 10th. St. Louis ties it up again, and then David Freese wins it in the 11th. In the history of baseball, there have been 3 times where a team was a strike away from winning the World Series and didn't do it, and 2 of the 3 happened in that game. So that would be my number one. Very close behind it, though, would be Jose Bautista and the bat flip game. I did that game for ESPN Radio as well, and the Jose Bautista bat flip game's got to be right on the list as well.
Who do you draft in the 2021 NBA draft? Evan Mobley or Davion Mitchell?
Ooh, that's an interesting question. I didn't think you were going Davion Mitchell, so I thought you might go Jalen Suggs or somebody like that. But Evan Mobley is an incredibly incredibly talented player. And I think I love Davion Mitchell, and I'm glad he's starting to move up into the draft lottery, but I still think I would take Evan Mobley ahead of him.
What a performance, Dan Shulman! You crushed it! As they say, a swing and a bounce! I had no doubt you would dominate that rapid fire. How'd that feel, Dan? How'd that feel?
Pretty stressful. I've been grilled by a lot of people asking me questions, but you came at me hard there. You came right after me, so I'm glad I did okay.
Okay, Dan, I got 2 more questions to ask you, and then I'll let you go. The news recently broke that you've been awarded the great honor of calling Team Canada basketball games at the upcoming Summer Olympics. This is a massive opportunity and testament to your talent and love for the game. Tell me a bit about this honor and how exciting this must be for you and your family.
I'm very, very excited. So I know a lot of people in Canada don't think of me as a basketball guy, but I've been doing college basketball for ESPN since long before you were born. And I love basketball deeply, and I've always been a big fan of Canada basketball. So I wish things were different and I could actually go to Tokyo. I'm going to be doing it from Toronto in a studio, though, to stay safe. But I'm extremely excited. Our women are medal contenders, and I'm thrilled to be doing their games. And I hope our men can do what they need to do in Victoria and get to the Olympics as well. If they don't, I'll still be calling the men's basketball competition, but Canada won't be there. But I am counting on Canada being there. And this has been, Jake, like a bucket list thing for me. This has been something I've always wanted to do. But in years past, when I worked so much for ESPN, I just wasn't able to do it. Now, I'm kind of part-time for ESPN, and I want to thank my bosses at ESPN and at Sportsnet for letting me do this. It took a little juggling of schedules, but I'm able to do it, and I'm very excited about it.
By the way, a few months ago, I had President and CEO of Canada Basketball, former Raptors GM, Glenn Grunwald, on my show. Mm-hmm. And we were discussing the incredible success Canadian players have been having in the past few years. By the way, it just sucks that Jamal Murray isn't available. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
But which other players are you most looking forward to watch?
Well, for Canada specifically, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, so hopefully Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is healthy and able to play. And Luguentz-Dort, I think, will be on the team for sure. Hopefully Corey Joseph is there as well. RJ Barrett, I think as long as the Knicks don't have a deep run, he will be there. I think Dylan Brooks will be on the team. I think Kem Birch will be on the team. I think Chris Boucher will be on the team. And hopefully they get another big guy, whether it's Dwight Powell or Brandon Clark. And then there are some other guys that you may not know as well, but guys who have played internationally for Canada for many years, but they're not in the NBA. But guys like Kevin Pangos and Melvin Edgem and Kyle Wiltshire, I think they would be great to round out the team because of their international experience.
By the way, what you're saying is you're excited to watching half of the OKC Thunder.
Well, basically, yeah. Yes. If they get Gilgeous-Alexander and Luguentz-Dort, I think we're in really good shape.
Last question. So I know you're best buddies with Yankees manager Aaron Boone. And when you look and analyze the Yankees right now, what's holding back this team from having major success aside from pitching? They haven't won the pennant since 2009. That's the year I was born, Dan. The year I was born. And since 2013, they only won the division once. They're the Yankees, for goodness sake. I know it's early, but they're off to a terrible start this season. What does Dan Shulman need to tell Aaron Boone?
Well, Dan Shulman doesn't need to tell Aaron Boone anything. Aaron Boone can handle this just fine. But when I have watched the Yankees, they're not hitting the ball much at all. Stanton's not hitting. Torres isn't hitting. Frazier's not hitting. So a bunch of their guys aren't hitting. And their defense has been pretty rough, too, when I've seen it. And then you mentioned, I think, Corey Kluber and Jameson Taillon earlier. They need those guys to be good. And they haven't been as good as they have been at times in the past. So they've got it coming at them from a number of different directions right now. But again, it's a long, long season. As you and I talked today, they've only played 15 games, and they're better than they've looked. And I still think they're going to be a force in the division.
I'll tell you what's holding the Yankees back. Aaron Boone needs to join Jake's Takes. So that way I can help him the same way I helped Clayton Richard. But
you're not a shy young man, I'll give you that.
In all honesty, any way you can get the great Aaron Boone, you think you can swing that?
I don't think I can swing that. I appreciate your enthusiasm, but I'm not quite sure I can pull that off.
Dan, this has been an incredible experience having the opportunity to chat sports with a legend like you. I hope you had fun, because for me, this was out of the ballpark.
I'm happy to do it, Jake. It's always nice to talk with somebody who's a big fan, and I'm glad to have been on your podcast.
Wishing you continued success, and can't wait to hear you call the next Jays game. You're the best, Dan. Thanks again. Hey guys, you won't believe the guest I have next week. Make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out.